Please can we put our hands together for Engage Media. Yeah. So we said the eagle has landed, right? So we're going to open, is it the cockpit or the fuselage? We open something, right? So we're going to invite someone that is very, 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 very special to us. Last year, he didn't speak, but when Mr. Lamide Johnson was speaking, you could see his comments, right? And if you know Mr. Salem King, you know that he's someone that's very supportive. So just before we call him up, I think we should let people know him very, very well. If you had to summarize him in one word, what word would that be? Community, yes. So please go on.
Okay, Salem, not Salem. Salem King. He is a dynamic content creator.
Let's make it more fun. When she said, just say, Let's go again, yeah.
Salem King is a dynamic content creator, teacher, coach, entrepreneur, and social media influencer, gaining repute in new media and communication circles. Through his platforms, he empowers and mobilizes creative young people to become agents of change, focusing on personal development and sharing valuable ideas to catalyze growth. As the founder of the Booster Academy, Salem has trained over 3,000 creators. He also established his own community, and authored a book with the same name. He launched the Community Hangout, a gathering aimed at making a tangible impact on his audience offline. In fact, it was at the Community Hangout in Abuja last year that I met Joseph Etim. And it was through that meeting that I am the host of this event.
Somebody say, wow.
So without further ado, let us have...
Please, before we bring up Salem King, I would like us to celebrate Salem King, please. Now, sometimes we don't have opportunities to make public appreciations, and I'm here to say thank you to Salem. I think, how many of you see my videos online, you like it? Line now. How many of you see my videos and you like it? I used to be a very scared person. Like, I didn't believe that social media, doing videos, creating videos was for me. And at some time in 2019, I met with one of my friends, and she said, there is this guy I think you want to just look at. And I came to his page. I saw a young man. Then he was a teenager. He was very, you know Salem now. How many of us knew Salem then? You see Salem on the streets, like on the road, making crazy videos. And I was like, what audacity. And the things he teaches, not just the kind of videos, I was inspired. And thank you so much, Salem. So if you guys have seen my videos, you liked it, it's because there was a Salem King that started creating content, started creating videos. And
yeah, those hands together, beautiful.
And I would just like to say, Salem, thank you so much. And all you do, I appreciate you. And thank you so much. I wanted to say that.
Please, can we put our hands together? Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Salem King. Yeah. Please keep clapping till he comes to the center.
Hi, guys. Every time I have to speak, I remember or I learn something very humbling the hard way. And it's that it's so much easier to make noise online. In person, as I'm here now, I want to run away, but, I'm stuck at this point. After that vote of thanks, I can't run away again, First of all, please give yourselves a round of applause. You could be anywhere else on a Saturday, but you decided to be here. You're investing in yourself. Your future self is going to thank you. Why do you stop? Don't believe in yourself. Anyway, so I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much, Joseph. And John, it's so good to meet you in person for the first time. I don't think it's fair that they put my talk at this point when you finish hearing from all the other people that I look up to. I'm supposed to talk about monetizing your creative work. Monetizing your creative work. And honestly, that's a topic that we need like a whole day of intensive teaching for. However, I'm going to talk about it in the next 15 minutes, and I want you to get value out of what we talk about within the short time that we have. So rather than give you tips and tricks and anything, rather than tell you what to do, I'm going to talk to you about how to think, how you should be thinking about it. Because once you figure out how to think, what to do will come a little easier, right? You will know, you will know how to figure it out for yourself. Because at the end of the day, these things, to some extent, aren't one size fits all. But I'm just going to tell you how I think you should be thinking as a creator who's looking to make money online, and we'll just go from there. All right? Can we go?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, first of all, if you forget everything I say over the next 15 minutes, I want you to remember one thing. I want you to remember that we are in the business of people. So write that down, put it anywhere that will be easy for you to remember. We are in the business of people. Before we're in the business of anything else, we're in the business of people. So whether you're a content creator, or you sell shoes and bags, or you're an entrepreneur, or you're a pastor, or you're an event organizer, before we're in the business of anything, we're in the business of people. Because at the end of the day, all the money you want to make, all the money we want to make, where's the money? It's in people's bank accounts, it's in people's pockets. All the shares, likes, comments you want to get on a post, it's going to come from people. You get, you can't you can actually like and comment on a post yourself, but technically the growth you want to experience a lot of times, it is with people. And so many years ago, if you wanted to reach people, you had to reach them directly. If you had like a great message, you had something you wanted to sell, you had to meet people face to face, or it just wasn't going to happen. And this is not a very long time ago. This is like 30 years ago, right? If Joseph had this amazing message that he wanted to share with the world, it would cost him a whole lot of money. He would have to look for a newspaper or write a book or appear on TV. And those were all things that you needed to have a lot of money to be able to do. But now, with a smartphone and an internet connection, there is so much you can do about how you are perceived, right? So the people that normally it would be very difficult for you to reach, you are now able to reach so much easier. And the beauty of all of it, the part that makes me the happiest, is the fact that you're able to build community. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Because one of the best things you can do for yourself, one of the best decisions you could make as a creator who's trying to make money, is to build a community of people who know you, people who like you, and people who trust you. Because when you satisfy all those criteria, it's so much easier for people to part with money when they already know you, right? There's people struggling, running ads and trying to reach people out there, and then there are people who are not struggling as much because they already have a community that trusts them. So when they say, oh, I'm selling this, that community is very open to receive from them. That community is always ready to hear from them. That community is always ready to show up for them. So let's talk about that. But before we, dive into, how you can build community, let me tell you guys a little bit of my story. Do you mind? It's not like if you said you mind, I would be like, oh, okay, I'm the one with the mic at the end of the day. But yeah, I started making content in 2018, but I wasn't taking it very seriously. But sometime in December 2018, I made a decision that I'm going to post content every day for 30 days. I was going to make a video every day for 30 days. So come January 2019, from January 1st, I started making one video every day and posting it on my feed. And at the time, I had 1,500 followers when I started this thing. And in my mind, in my small mind, I was just thinking, if I can just go from 1,500 to 2,000 followers in this 30-day period, that'd be amazing. I'll be blown, right? That was what was on my mind. But when I started, at the end of that month, I was at 5,000 followers. So my following had tripled. And back then, there was no Instagram Reels. Do you get? So you didn't go viral. Right? If you went viral, it was something that happened organically, like people sharing and stuff. So growing, to 5K from 1.5 in a month was a really huge deal. And that was just that, that growth just made me realize, oh wow, there's something here people really like this stuff that I'm talking about. Okay, there's more where that came from. And I kept on making videos. Some months later, I think this was like April of 2019, I think I had like 7 or 8K followers. And I got an email from a brand that's like, Salem, we love the work you do. How much do you charge? In my mind, I'm like, charge? Just like I can see. For real, like I was like, wait, so this thing I'm doing for free, I can actually charge money, But of course, that deal didn't go through at that time, but there was something that just opened up in my mind that made me know that, oh wow, I can actually make money from this thing. So I did that, and I just kept making content. And every now and then, people would ask me questions about how do you make your videos? How do you edit? How are you able to say so much within such a short time? How do you communicate in a way that makes me feel like, is this guy in my head? So I figured, okay, I'll teach you. Every time people would ask me, I used to respond via DMs. Like if somebody sent me a DM, I would respond. I would do a screen recording, show them how I edited my videos. But the more my following grew, that became less and less and less sustainable, right? So people started to tell me, oh, do a class. In my mind, like I had never thought I would do a class that people would pay for. But people were like, do a class, we'll pay. I was too scared to do a paid class because I'm like, what if I teach them and they cannot, whatever I teach them is not like replicable and they don't get the same results. Well, would not, I beg, So I put out a class. I did a free class so that at least if it doesn't go well, everybody would just be like, we wasted each other's time, So we'll just go. So I did a free class, and there were all kinds of creators in a class, like travel creators, lifestyle. There was a lady that was a makeup artist. There were all kinds of creators. I did the free class. And then after the class, I saw that they were getting real results, right? Like I saw the results they were getting. I now got angry. I'm like, oh, okay, this thing, they work. Next one, 5K. And that's how I started to make money online. So the first time I did this class, it was late, I think it was August or September 2019. I had about 100 people sign up, right? And let me give you guys some context. When my account was growing in January, I used to respond to every single comment, right? Because I went from somebody who was like just a regular Instagram user to someone who was getting hundreds of comments on a post. So I used to respond to everyone. Like if you saw a post of mine with 400 comments, 200 was me. I was responding to everyone. Now at the time, I didn't know that this was a strategy for community building. I was just grateful. I was just like, wow, you really took 60 seconds out of your day to watch my video. Thank you, And sometimes I would even like tap on the person's profile to learn more about them so I could respond in a very personal way. And I just did it because I was grateful. But months down the line, apparently that had created a very strong bond between me and the people who followed me. They were like extremely endeared to me. Like even up until early this year, somebody walked up to me after a church service and said, don't you remember me? You replied my comments in 2019. I'm serious. So the point I'm trying to make is you never know how far these things go, right? So celebrity, reply your comments. Anyway, so now, of course, I can't keep up anymore, but all those things sort of endeared my audience to me. I had a very engaged audience. So when I did that class for 5K, about 100 people signed up in around 48 hours. And I made 500K. At the time, that 500K was the most money I had ever seen at the same time in my whole life, right? Like, that 500K made me consider quitting my job. I'm being very serious. And I did quit later on, but it was just ground-breaking for me at the time. And I've just always been someone who loves community. But the thing that broke the camel's back for me when it comes to community, by the way, I never did ads. This 100 people so no ads. It was every single person was from my community, and I didn't post it on my page. It was on my Instagram stories. For context, so I just always loved my community. Loved interacting with my audience. But the more I learned about this content creation thing that I had stumbled into, I started to realize that this access I had to people was an opportunity for free research, right? Like, imagine being able to ask anything and have 1,000 people respond. And immediately you have information that the average person is difficult to come by. But yeah, I kept doing that. And one day I put up a post. It was just a picture of myself and a very short caption. The caption said, "What's bothering you?" And it wasn't the first time I had done stuff like that. Like, I always put up posts like that because I had a very engaging audience. I still have a very engaging audience. So I put, "What's bothering you?" I thought people were just going to tell me, "Oh, I'm trying to grow my Instagram, this is what, I'm trying to make videos, but I don't want to show my face." The regular questions people would ask me. But 30 minutes later, after I put up that post, there were more than 200 comments on the post. And if you see how people were downloading their problems, like their real life problems. And I saw the post and I'm just like, God, who sent me? I beg. Because I genuinely planned to respond to people. But when I came to respond, I couldn't, I'm a child. Where am I going to start from with these problems? So I did the responsible adult thing, and I turned off my phone. I put my phone away, but I just couldn't get it off my mind, I wanted to see, what's... So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to give these people some time, let them express themselves. I would delete the post. But I came back 1 hour later, and something very interesting had started to happen. I started to see that people were responding to themselves in the comments. So one person, apparently what was happening was people would see the post and then go straight to the comment section and then be like, "Oh, is this what you're struggling with? Send me a DM. Oh, do you live in Abuja? Let's meet for coffee. Oh, let's get on the phone, we'll talk about it." I didn't need to answer anybody, and almost every comment was responded to by somebody in the community. And that taught me a very important lesson. It taught me that even though this community had formed around me, it was not about me. And that was the tipping point that made me start to actually research the entire concept of community. Why is this thing so powerful? Why are there people who would do something crazy for someone they've never met? Why are there people supporting me from all around the world, buying the stuff I'm selling, sharing my posts? Why is it possible for you to wake up one day and decide that you want to post content consistently, and then 1 year later you're making money from that? It didn't make sense to me. So I started to study it, and I learned 2 things that I want to share with you. So let's ask the question first. Why are we talking about community, right? Why? Because 1, we're in the business of people, like I said earlier. And 2, because community is a survival need. So, of course, in marketing, it has become this thing that's just nice to talk about, just nice to have community, but it is a survival need. And I'll prove it to you. Has anyone here heard about Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Let's know the people that went to good schools. I'm joking. But yeah, Abraham Maslow basically is this, psychologist guy from 100 years ago who comes up, based on research, of course, comes up with a theory that describes the most important human needs, in order of importance, like the things that motivate human beings to want to pursue anything. And first thing on his, list of most important needs, physiological needs, food, water, just stuff you need, air, stuff you need to survive. Second thing on his list is safety needs. So the need for security, shelter. No, shelter is physiological, but security, health, just knowing you're okay. Now the third thing on his list is a sense of belonging, love, which can also be translated as community. That's something that human beings have needed as far back as the Stone Age. We've always needed to exist in groups. That's how, for example, people who, in the Stone Age, that's how they would protect themselves from the wild. If you were by yourself, you were not safe. If you were part of a tribe, you were safer. All of these things have translated to the reality we now have online. It is something people are looking for. So if you're in a position where you're trying to build a community, if you're in a position where you're trying to make money, one of the easiest ways to do it, well, maybe not the easiest, but one of the surefire ways to do it is to intentionally build a community. And now, how do you do that? First thing you want to do is determine who your target audience is. But let's put that in simple words. The question you want to ask is, who do I want to attract? Who is this community for? Now, why is this important? Because communities form around impact. Communities don't form because you woke up and decided, I want to build a community. So you carry 100 people and put them in a WhatsApp group. That's not a community. That's a WhatsApp group. Everyone in the community needs to have a similar goal, a similar interest, something that they're striving for, right? So determine who your target audience is. Who is this community for? Who do I want to attract? And you need to define that, like, to a very granular level. I'm trying to attract people in Abuja between the ages of 18 to 25 who went to private universities. You need to be very specific. So, for example, next step after you have determined who your target audience is, the next thing you want to do is to identify what their frustrations are. What are their problems? What are their pain points? Now, why is this important? Because you are only as valuable as your understanding of the problems that you're seeking to solve. Right? The reason why, you go to a hospital and, a doctor tells you what's wrong with your body and you believe him, even though there's nobody else who has lived in your body longer than you, is because he understands anatomy and you don't. Right? So there's certain things that we need to understand better than the people that we're seeking to serve. And for you to do that, you need to understand their problems. You need to understand what's bothering these people. So if I say I want to reach out to teenage boys in Abuja, I need to think like a teenage boy and ask myself, when a teenage boy wakes up in the morning, what's he worried about? Identify those pain points. And then the third thing you want to do is to find a bridge. Find a connection between problems that exist and problems that you are best suited to solve based on your exposure, your education, your background, your expertise, your experiences, your interests, your passions. And when I say passions, I don't just mean the things that you're passionate about or the things that make you happy. I also mean the things that make you mad. Because there's so many people who have built businesses and careers off of things that make them mad. What's the name of that climate child? I think she's like 19 now. Greta Thunberg, yes. She's very angry, right? But it's the passion that has led her to where she is now, right? So, thank you so much. So you need to be thinking, what are their problems? Who am I trying to reach out to, rather? What are their problems? And which of these problems am I best suited to solve? So if you're trying to monetize online and you're only thinking about the money, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't think about money, but you need to think about the fact that you're in the business of what? You're in the business of people. When you work in marketing or when you're an entrepreneur or when you're in business, it's easy to reduce people to numbers. Right? It's easy to just think of, engagement rates and conversion rates and, getting leads. And even though all of that is very important, people are people. So when I look at the number in my bio, I'm not saying 100K followers. I'm saying 100K human beings. Every now and then I have a conversation with a creator who's like, I want to grow my Instagram. I'm like, okay, how many followers do you have? And they say, I have only 500 followers. I'm like, what do you mean only? Okay, imagine there were 500 people in the room where you are now. Social media makes us feel like 500 is such a nonsense number. But 500 is a lot of human beings, right? And then I go the next step and ask them, okay, out of your 500 followers, tell me the names of 20 people. And they can't tell me. So I'm like, you're not serious, right? You want to get more people to the table when you haven't fed the people you have at the table yet. So if you're looking to grow on social media, if you're looking to monetize, all the money you want to make is with people. Everything you want to do better is with people. Everything you want to cash out on is an investment you have to first make in people. I wrote an ebook titled Community that they mentioned in the introduction. I wrote it maybe 2021, 2020 or 2021, I'm not sure. But since then, we've sold over 2,000 copies of the ebook. And it's just 3,000 naira because I wanted anyone to be able to get it. After I realized that community is a need and more people need to be empowered to build communities. On Monday this week, like Monday evening, I put up a post on my stories and I said, this ebook has been 3K for the past 2 years. Next Monday, I'm increasing the price to 5,000. 100 people bought the ebook, and counting, right? And these are people that I don't know them from anywhere. I posted it on my stories, just the way that I'll post that, I'm on the beach. That's the way I posted that I'm increasing the price of my book, buy. So that's money that I make, and I don't have to do any extra work. The only extra work I had to do was post the link. Do you understand? But when you have community, there's so much more you can do with that. You can do events, you can create merch like Temi does, you can, create digital products. And of course, this I don't mean that you're just going to create things and it's not going to offer any form of value. You're still going to offer some value, right? However, that's always a good place to start. I hope my time is up. I hope we have another opportunity to, talk and dig deeper into exact steps to take when you're looking to monetize. But, if you are thinking about community, you cannot get it wrong. So if you forget everything I've said, remember that before we're in the business of anything, we are what? Thank you so much, guys.